Investor Brand Network, IBN, a multifaceted communications organization engaged in connecting public companies to the investment community, is pleased to announce the launch of the Stock2Me podcast as part of its sustained audio communications effort to provide specialized content distribution via widespread syndication channels. The following Stock2Me podcast is an Investor Brand Network audio production and may feature a client partner of IBN. Investor Brand Network may have been compensated for the production of this podcast. Please be sure to read our entire disclaimer for full disclosure. Thank you, and here today is your host of the Stock2Me podcast.
Well, thank you, everybody. I am your host, Stuart Smith, and as you just heard, I'm welcoming you now to the Stock2Me podcast, brought to you by the Investor Brand Network. Today, we are speaking to, for the very first time, Perpetual Industries Incorporated, traded on the OTC under the ticker symbol PRPI. Now, Perpetual Industries was founded by President, Chairman, and CEO of the company, Brent Bedford, and he's our guest today. I want you to go to the company's website, perpetualindustries.com. Follow along there, as well as investorbrandnetwork.com. Click on the Clients tab, and you will find a detailed due diligence pack on this company. But with that, let's welcome Brent to the show. Brent, thanks so much for calling in today. How are you?
I'm doing great, Stuart. Real pleasure to talk to you today.
Well, it's a pleasure to speak with you. So tell us a little bit, for those who may not be familiar with your company, about the business model and the markets that you operate in with Perpetual Industries Incorporated. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Perpetual Industries really came out of an idea of innovation, helping these great ideas with all these great minds that we have in the world, coming up with all these innovative, great ideas, acting sort of like an incubator, if you will, or a conduit to allow those ideas to be developed, researched, and ultimately commercialized so that the public at large can take advantage of these great ideas and innovation. Going back many years, I've been working with a lot of big manufacturers around the world and selling them patented technologies that are value added. And, that's a very difficult path to take for a lot of smaller inventors and that. And so what we do is we kind of rely on these great big companies to do all the innovation for us. But, they're big companies. They're like big ships in the ocean. They don't change course very quickly. So it's very difficult to do that. So we felt there was a real need to put together a team of people that had a lot of experience, big networks in all aspects of business. Some of these people that come up with these great ideas, they might have these great ideas, but they don't have the resources. They might not know how to run a business. They might not know how to do marketing, finance the project, things like that. So what we did was we put a team of people together under Perpetual Industries, which is meant to perpetuate industry. So that's kind of the core idea of why we put the company together. And of course, we're very fond of being energy efficient, green energy, being environmentally responsible. So we have a real affinity for projects that are good for the environment and helping those become reality.
Excellent. I'm glad you brought all that up, honestly. So many great thinkers and innovators are exactly that. They're great thinkers and innovators. That does not make them great business people. And they need that help to get over that chasm that separates them and their ideas from making it into the mainstream. And as you pointed out, they're more agile and can quickly adapt, whereas the large companies, in the analogy you made, are like big ships, and having to turn a big ship in the ocean can be incredibly difficult. Well, let's get into the portfolio that you're working with right now. Tell me about some of the innovations and innovators you're working with.
We have a core proprietary technology that we've developed over the years, and that's really where everything sort of started. This technology is known as the XYO mechanical balancing technology. And what it does is it's able to balance everything that rotates. So you think of all the things in the world that are rotating, for everything from washing machines to turbines to drive shafts to, you name it, electric motors. There's so many things that rotate, and they have to be balanced. Otherwise, they create vibration. There's wear and tear. There's noise. There's heat. And all those things are just wasted energy. So, if you, for example, everybody knows a washing machine bounces all over the floor when it goes out of balance. And what that does is it actually draws more more electricity to operate that machine. So this technology that we have has movable mass inside of the balancer. We custom make it for each application. And what it does is it compensates for that unbalanced mass, and it removes the vibration. And what we found is that it uses less energy now. So if you're talking about a gas engine or a turbine, it's going to use less fuel. If you're talking about electric appliances or electric motors, it's going to use less electricity. So when you think of all the washing machines around the world, that's a big benefit for everybody if we can reduce how much energy is consumed and make them more efficient and last longer. So this balancing technology is really the core that we've started with. And we've chosen two areas, I guess you would call them verticals. One area is the washing machine. It works very well, and there's information on our website, test reports and that sort of stuff. So, Dyson set the vacuum world on fire by coming up with a great new idea, and it became the best vacuum cleaner out there. We're trying to do the same thing with the washing machine. So we're going to be working with some OEMs to provide us with sort of some customization on the washing machine. We'll bring them to our headquarters in Indiana. We'll hot rod them with our XYO balancer, and we're going to show the world how a washing machine really should work. That's one area that we're quite excited about. And the other area that we're also utilizing the balancer for is a vertical axis wind turbine. The big ones that are up in the sky, a bit of a big propellers that are big eyesores and damaging all kinds of birds and bats and all that sort of stuff. We've developed a vertical axis turbine that actually has some interesting new concepts to it. And of course, by balancing it, we're able to start generating energy at a lower wind speed and also at a high wind speed. And they're not a big eyesore. So these are sort of, our niche market is surrounding sort of the rural applications, the acreages, rural businesses, things like that. So that's something that we've been working with Tryon University here in Indiana. And they've been helping us quite a bit with modeling these and perfecting it. So that's an exciting one too. That's obviously good for the environment. Now you take that wind turbine, and it also goes into another area that we're quite passionate about, which is the blockchain. So we got a company here that is into green energy and as well as the blockchain. And a lot of people, see blockchain, they think of Bitcoin, they think of Ethereum, these cryptocurrencies, but it's much more than that. They require these computers to be on all the time and calculating things and putting out all these transactions. Those computers use a lot of energy. And so that's a big problem, I think, and it's going to be getting bigger in the future. So we've kind of come up with a concept of being able to run these machines, these computers, data centers, if you will, by utilizing our wind turbine and supplementing that with solar power as well. So we think we have a more environmentally responsible way of contributing to that network. And so that's an area that we're quite excited about as well. So yeah, those are the key sort of in-house projects that we're doing, but we've also got a few other divisions if you'd like to talk about that as well.
Yeah, I do, but I want to learn about you as our guest. But before I even do that, listeners, go back to perpetualindustries.com, click on the divisions, and you can find the division here, Wind Silo. You can find the article here with Tryon University, or there's a press release here actually, came out November 9th, 2020. So lots of great information on your website, lots of great bits and pieces that you can dig into because there are so many here with Perpetual Industries, but you are the leadership of the company. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family at a young age. I didn't have much choice. I started washing the floors in the family businesses and machine shops and sharpening businesses and that sort of stuff. So I really got the bug at an early age. Of course, worked my way up through some of those projects with family members, and it became real apparent to me that I wanted to become my own boss. So I started coming up with some of these ideas and really got into looking for a non-commodity type of thing. So coming from Canada, I would travel around and try to find new products that didn't exist in the Canadian market, but were quite successful in other markets. And I started to, get the rights for those products for the Canadian market. And I started selling them there. And some of those things are like the Quicksilver electrolytic tarnish removing plate. We sold millions of those years, in my early 20s. Then moved on to another product that was a licensed product from the Simpsons show. We sold that all across all the major across Canada, and really gained a lot of experience from doing those. Had a lot of really fun times and great opportunities to do business at a high level. And then took that into, other areas where I really started, because of my traveling, I started working with these big manufacturers and seeing that there's opportunity to bring them new ideas and, maybe license it to them and get a royalty. So I really got the bug for that for quite a few years. And that's really what led to Perpetual Industries, is to create the company. And then, of course, learning how to leverage that with a public company by being able to access funds in a broader term and give people liquidity. And that's really where it all started to take off and really believe that there was an opportunity to really make these things happen.
Well, let's now look at 2020, talk about some of those other segments for your company as well. But 2020 was a unique year that offered obviously some unique challenges for all businesses, agnostic of whatever industry they might be in. Talk to me about the company achievements in 2020, and then we'll jump into your outlook for 2021.
Yeah, 2020 was a very pivotal year for us. We had been a little quiet, and then we had to do some cleanup with the company. A big milestone over the last few years has been our ability to get rid of the debt that was sitting on the books that was hindering us. We've been able to write down, get rid of close to just under $4 million worth of debt off of our books. So that was a big stepping stone for us to do that. And then it's enabled us to attract some more investment with some very, very astute business people and investors that have joined our team as well. So a lot of our investors that have come in at this stage are contributing. They're active in the company too. So it's opened a lot of doors to us, big networks, all kinds of different vocations these people are involved in. So we've built up this team. That was a big part of it, is building up the team. We set up our headquarters in Indiana, which was a big step. And it's a great place to be because we're surrounded by manufacturing, raw materials, a lot of great engineering talent around here. So that was a big stepping stone for us as well. And then, of course, just recently we've done some acquisitions where we've acquired a 20-year-old company, very successful company, Worldwide Auctioneers, that is in the same facility as us in Indiana. And we've also acquired a software as well that is going to take that industry, the collector car industry, into the future by utilizing blockchain, developing an app and an entire community for all of these people to be involved. And what we're real excited in that area is we're developing our own token as well to work in that community. So those have been some big acquisitions that help us to establish, growth in the areas of assets on our balance sheet as well as revenues. So it's this year, 2021, is going to be a very pivotal year for us. We're going to be generating our revenues. We're going to have growth in our assets. And, it's an exciting time for us.
Well, listeners, once again, we are speaking to the founder, president, chairman, and CEO, Brent Bedford of Perpetual Industries Incorporated. That ticker symbol again, PRPI, that website again, perpetualindustries.com. And of course, visit their profile at investorbrandnetwork.com. Brent, thank you so much for your time today. Any closing thoughts or comments for our listeners and your shareholders?
Oh, yeah. I mean, thank you very much for taking time to allow me to explain what the company does and that. And I would let people know that Perpetual Industries is a great company to have in your portfolio. 2021 is going to be a very big year of growth for us. And I would encourage you to sign up on our website to get all that news right to you. You've got a company where you have green energy and you have blockchain and some other real exciting things happening in the company. We're building a solid foundation, low debt, low burn rate, very nice stock structure that is very tightly held. And all the team people, there's a lot of people involved, of course, much more than myself, really are behind the projects that we're in. And, we welcome any new investors or people that want to contact us for business opportunities. We're real happy to take that. And thank you very much for taking time.
Absolutely. For Brent Bedford, this is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for listening.
The following Stock2Me podcast was an Investor Brand Network audio production. IBN is a financial news and publishing company delivering a new generation of corporate communication solutions, including news aggregation and syndication, social communication, and enhanced news release services. Investor Brand Network may receive payments for corporate communications relations, as well as various press releases and social media solutions provided to its clients. IBN holds no shares of any company named on the IBN sites, brands, and/or podcasts. To be clear, all officers, directors, and independent contractors of Investor Brand Network hold zero positions in and do not trade or intend to trade the securities for their own accounts. This interview is not an offer or recommendation to buy or sell securities. Information in this broadcast is presented solely for informative purposes and is not intended to be or should it be construed as investment advice. As in all investments, investment in the featured company carries an investment risk. Listeners should review the company thoroughly with the registered investment advisor or registered stockbroker. This podcast audio interview by Investor Brand Network is not intended to be a complete study of the featured company or other companies mentioned. Information used and statements of fact have been obtained from featured company and other sources, but not verified nor guaranteed by Investor Brand Network as to completeness and accuracy. Such information is subject to change without notice. Please see our full disclaimers and disclosures at investorbrandnetwork.com.